Now we're always going on about performance parts for your fancy machines in the way of brakes and exhausts and bits that make it go quicker. But what about the handling? Well, there's loads of different brands and there's loads of different posy things you can buy. Now some of the stuff that you may spend your hard-earned on can actually cost you less than the original equipment. And you can buy brands like Shaw and Penske, Öhlins and White Power. There's whole loads of different ones. Now these at the top here are the Penske units. They're quite subtle, they're very nice in the bronzy colour and the black, and you can get them here with a sort of an external adjuster on it. So at least you can show it off to your mates, because it is true to say that when you spend this sort of money, £500 or £600, very often it's stuck under the seat out of the way, you can't see it. So what people do is they then buy units like this with yellow springs and nice anodised gold units on the side. And then White Powers, of course, they're famous for their white springs, so they get noticed, they get seen. You can buy something like this. This is for the latest GSXR 750, where it's got all sorts of fancy bits and pieces on it, and you've got an adjuster that sits on the outside, and that can get noticed by all your mates, so at least they can see what you've spent your money on. In respect to costs, £500, £600, £700 very, very easily. But like I say, just bear in mind that if you do have a unit on the back of your machine that is completely cream crackered, it may cost you that much to put an original equipment on it. And not all of them are rebuildable either, whereas aftermarket ones very, very often are. It doesn't just stop at the back of the bike either, you've got to think of the front of the machine. Now, here we are, a basic spring like that goes into your fork legs. These can cost as little as £40, £50 for a pair and can go up to several hundred depending on how fancy performance you want and what brand they are. So there's a little quick summary of what you can have in the way of shock absorbers units at the back of your bike, fork springs in the front. You know, you think of them as very, very costly, £500, £600 or whatever, and you think, who in the right mind is going to spend that on the bike? Well, would you believe an outlet like Demon Tweaks, for example, with mail order system, they sell around 20 units a week. So there are people out there who do spend big bucks on their fancy bits on the bike. But what about this unit? This is the front forks on the front of an R1 that we've put on, and they're 1,500 quid's worth.